All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Podcast, the world's greatest podcast. We're here with Terry Armstrong from TCM. This is an exciting launch that we've just done together. We've launched TCM together into Sprouts nationally, so that's a big win for everyone. Most importantly, for all of those Sprouts customers that get to buy TCM now. They're the biggest winners. But it's just the beginning of, I think, a lot of growth. It's a really cool product line, cool packaging, cool branding. It works. Let's put it that way. But let's talk a little bit, Terry, about the origin story to start with. What was the genesis behind TCM? What got you into this in the first place, and how'd you get from there to where you are right now?
Oh, sure, not a problem, not a problem. So, to give you a little bit of background, my family actually owns a really popular multicultural hair care line, and I was working in sales and operations for them for some years. And I was over sales and operations. One of my educators, who was a male, which is, not too strange in that industry, but he was a barber. And he came to me and he said, so are you guys ever going to make anything for men? And I had to actually be honest with him and say, no, that's not the focus. But it didn't sit well with me. His name is Rance John. He's actually one of the co-founders of TCM now. Um, it didn't sit with me well. About 2 weeks, and then I flew out to St. Louis and said, "Hey, they're not going to do anything. We should do it ourselves, and it's really important to him because what I noticed with Rance is he got joy out of watching men as a barber. When he's done, how when looking great makes you feel really, really good about yourself. And that became kind of our mantra for moving forward is, we want to make a product line that helps men feel the best, be the best and feel the best about themselves. And so we started in 2017 with a conversation in a restaurant, just trying to figure out, who do we want to be? What is our brand going to be like? And we started from there in St. Louis, and fast forward a few years, we did some formulations. I had relationships with my family and formulators and chemists, and we just gave them clear direction about we want a product line that performs extremely well, doesn't harm anybody. Because in this day and age, there's always this concern about the right ingredients, the whole body experience, and just being able to create formulations that do more good than harm to anybody. And so we started there. We started with 5 products, three beard, two shave, to kind of align with what was trending, which was beards at the time are really taking off in the barbershop. We initially launched focused on barbers and professionals, because I had relationships with distributors, a lot of relationships in salons and barbershops. But we quickly pivoted just before COVID hit. And we realized,
Good
hey,
idea.
yeah, yeah, well, we still at our core, we're still a barber based brand. So our formulations are extremely strong and really designed for professionals and the quality of products they need. But we wanted to get our brand to the masses. And so to do that, we had to take a different focus. Started focusing more on the consumer and what their needs are, and really just mainlining into, hey, what is it that the consumer who's maybe doesn't go to the barbershop every week, but still wants to look good every day? What do they need? And that's kind of how we launched it.
And there's a lot of hair care products that market themselves as being salon grade or
Yes.
barbershop grade, right? But a lot of that is just marketing speak, right? I mean, with your formulations, I mean, you literally designed this to work in that setting first. And
Yes.
then did you have to change any of the formulations to make them work for the home consumer?
It's funny you say that. In the beginning, it is truly trial and error, trying to get to the point where um, it can make both a professional who may use your product on hundreds of customers every week, or the one-off consumer who buys it off the shelf to make both of them happy. So we did iterate on our formulations quite a bit, trying to get it where we want it, where we could count on the performance, no matter every day, all day, and make as many customers as possible happy with what they're getting. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that was one of the benefits of my family. Having that direct relationship with chemists, understanding how that process works, understanding how to test, how to take consumer feedback and really use it in the front end of the formulation, as opposed to me and Rance just trying to decide what we think the customer wants. We actually employed a really good strong process to that.
When when you're developing this kind of a product, how does the packaging design come into play? Because I mean, I my background is more in beverage and snacks and in fresh foods, right? But I think a lot of the same rules would still apply, right? You're still looking at how does this going to look on the shelf
Hmm.
in a physical store? And when you're selling online, it's one thing because you've got kind of a captive audience there that can see your product and explain it. But when you're on the shelf, it's kind of you against the world, right? To explain why someone should take this home. So I'm interested in it because you've got a story in terms of the ingredients, in terms of the effectiveness of the product, right? You've got a story to tell. You're telling it to mostly men, right?
Yes.
So you're telling it to a consumer that might not usually be looking for their solution there, right? So like how do you catch their attention like in the store?
That's a good question, actually. If you go down most aisles that are the men's category, one of the things that tends to stand out is even when the brands are trying to be different, they all seem to gravitate to a certain color scheme, a certain, they all, there was everything was in black or either the brushed silver or those types of things. And what we did is take a little bit of approach of like, we took some ideas from what the women were doing with their packaging. Hey, I want, in that sea of muted color, I want my bottle to stand out. I want to be able to see my bottle. So that's kind of where we came in with the blue. Is that, what will pop? If somebody's walking down the aisle and they were like, "What is that?" That was truly what we thought about. And then also, in terms of packaging, one of the things we like to consider is sustainability. We like to consider cost because value to the customer is always important to us. We initially started to go down the path of being really premium, just because the margins in theory are so well. But we took a step back and said, okay, what's most important? What's best for the consumer, our customer, who we want a lifetime relationship with? And we said, you know what? If we use the right packaging, the right cost, we can give them a great value with a great product inside, and it also looks very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, and you've got a bigger audience, right? Because
Yes,
if more people can afford it, it's not like you're going to lose necessarily the higher end consumer. If the product is good, it's good. And now if
exactly.
you can sell to a mainstream consumer too, you've opened up the doors from there. So when you started, I'm interested in this because in these lines, yours included, but a lot of lines in these categories, there's a lot of SKUs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm used to working in categories where the lines are three, four, five, six SKUs, but in these categories, it could be a lot more than that. Where do you start? What was the original hero SKUs that you were talking about, and like how did the product line evolve from the beginning, the nucleus, into fleshing it out with more items?
Um, I mean, I think as a sales guy, my natural instinct is always to try to make the thing that will sell the most. Uh, and that was for us a mistake. Because the reality of it is when we talk about SKU rationalization,
Yeah.
what does my customer need to really have a good grooming regimen? And so when we started expanding the line, it was really about, okay, what does a shave customer really need? I'm a prior military, so I shave almost every other day. So about 20 years ago, I really got into what does a full shave regimen look like. Shave pre-shave oil, the shave cream or shave gel, the aftershave balm, um, you know, treatments to deal with any issues I might have. So designing a true regimen for a beard, a shave, or even a hair or skin customer, which might include 3, 4, 5 products, depending on the journey the customer is on at that time. So that's the other thing is that, it's not just one persona, one customer profile we're looking at. We're trying to address the needs of many. So that, we try to do it smartly. We make a lot of products with multifunctional benefits. So you don't have to, if you're strapped for cash or you're trying to be more frugal,
Yeah.
our foam beard wash is one of those products. It's a 3-in-1. We just recently started promoting it that way, but it truly is a moisturizer, a wash, and a conditioner in one product. And so, and our hero product is our shave glaze. Actually, it was the first product that really got us on the map.
That's interesting. So when do you need to redesign your packaging at certain points to take advantage? Like you're learning as you go along, right? You're launching products and you're realizing that the product's actually better than you thought it was when you first made it, and it's going to appeal to more people than you thought. But you've got to tell that story, right? So
Yes.
there's as a business owner, there's a cost to that, right? Because you need to tell the story, but you've got packaging and inventory that you got to figure out, right? But
Yeah.
that's just part of the journey, right?
It is. It is. I always say it actually starts with a desire. One of the things I liked about being small initially is I got to talk to a lot of customers. So I would never know all the benefits of my products until I had that conversation. I'm like, oh, really? It does that or it does this? Oh, okay, thank you. Now I got to go do something with that. And so, updating the packaging, making sure that it can tell the right story, making sure that a person who comes to the shelf really understands all the benefits. You're trying to manage the inventory cost, for switching, because as a small business, one of the things, every penny matters. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of old, outdated, packaging, labels, whatever it may be, sitting in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really becomes about planning. I'm like, when we decided to tell this story about our foam beard wash, it was almost a year and a half ago. So we started transitioning then, knowing that by the time we got, you know, gratefully so for Pod Foods and Sprouts, by the time we got there, we had already, okay, let's pivot. This is
Yeah.
a great time to pivot.
Yep. So big step up with in terms of the number of doors going national with Sprouts. That's a big deal. But where are you going next? I mean, this is, I would think, something that's going to keep evolving. Are there any top secret projects that you're working on right now that you want to tease out, or what kind of product development are you thinking about doing in the future?
Oh, definitely. I like that question. We've been researching and working on skincare, more expansive skincare offerings for the last 2 years, and we just completed formulations of some new vegan skincare products for men. They're unisex, so they'll work for anybody. But we're really excited about these products and really expanding that category because we believe, as when I talk to customers, one of the things they start talking about is, if even if they're younger or older, just their skincare routine. Shave, beard, those are, to me, that's like blocking and tackling. Now we're really getting into the nuances of the West Coast offense.
Yeah.
And so we're really trying to, step our game up. So I'm really excited about that. Um, Getting to that point, that is a rough journey, even with my connections and my relationships. That's one of those challenges of a business is, okay, that's not our core space. We got to figure out the right way to come into it. That's why relationships will sprout if we can, when we deliver success in where we're at. We would love to have that conversation with them and then take that conversation to others of their competitors that that we think we want to do business with. So
It all makes a lot of sense.
yes.
Well, I think it's a really cool product line. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see where this goes next.
Hmm.
But thanks for jumping on. I think we just scratched the surface, but I hope people get a chance to try your product out, learn a little bit about it.
Yes.
So have fun.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.